Welcome to Informant Evening News, where we take a day defined by three distinct bursts of digital fury and watch in genuine awe as the stock market politely ignored them until it didn't. Tonight's story is not about what happened on Truth Social, but rather how the financial world managed to survive an afternoon that felt like watching someone try to juggle chainsaws while blindfolded. We had 11 posts total today, which sounds manageable until you realize 3 of those bursts were finalized with a verdict so specific. It feels less like news and more like a weather report for people who only believe in apocalypses they posted about first. Before we dive into the chaos where our two colleagues, who are both wrong, will eventually try to convince you that smoke is actually just caviar-flavored air, let's get through the mandatory digital inventory check so I can prove to my therapist that I am still engaging with reality in some capacity. Tonight's registry seal is 9149D96F0DB. There it sits on the blockchain, a permanent record of our collective confusion for all eternity. We started today with what they call bursts, which sounds aggressive but really just means a cluster of posts happening faster than a hedge fund manager can panic sell. The first burst was one post over 0 minutes, 0, folks, which somehow managed to push the VIXY up by 1.40% into the 86th percentile against historical baselines. Let that number sit with you for a second. 0.40 in the volatility index rising on a single sentence sent before anyone else could type. What did he say? The market is always fine, but it seems to have developed a very specific startle response now. Then came the second burst, which was 3 posts over 52 minutes, a whole hour of sustained noise that resulted in DJT dropping 5.13% into the 97th percentile against historical baselines. Again, I need you to read those numbers back to me because they refuse to make sense. 5.13 down for DJT, and a 97 out of 100 rating on how abnormal this move was historically. We are in territory where abnormal isn't just the baseline, it's the new normal, yet here we are acting stunned every single night that the market did not care more about our feelings. The third burst mirrored the first. One post over 0 minutes sending VIXY up by 1.26% into the 83rd percentile against historical baselines. I have never seen a ticker symbol react to silence as violently as it reacts to these posts. But apparently, if you say economy 3 times in an hour and mention tariffs once or twice, the math gods get nervous. The jury results for that second burst were particularly hilarious because they voted 1-0 that it would move markets, which is a bold prediction considering we are still trying to figure out why the measured settle percentiles on tracked tickers ranged from 38th all the way up to 97th in the same window. That is not a verdict. That is a fever dream where you can be both ignored and devastated simultaneously. And then, naturally, our two colleagues who are both wrong took the microphone. On the left, we have someone telling us this is a 5-alarm fire while noting the fire department is on his payroll, accusing him of billing neighbors for smoke while ignoring Dale Buckhorn's actual incompetence. On the right, the air is so toxic it's practically Canadian, they declared, insisting that no percentile is needed because their gut says we are adding smog to tariffs, while Margot Kessler cries in the corner. It gets worse when you realize both sides think they have a monopoly on sanity. The left anchor notes how careful he needs to be before calling out Dale Buckhorn's celebration of having no apology, and the right-wing pundit claims you can literally taste winning like expensive caviar, while Margot Kessler tries to explain away these miracles with her beloved percentiles and null hypotheses. They don't need data. They have a gut that knows this is the golden age. Meanwhile, we are just here staring at a chart where DJT dropped 5.13% into the 97th percentile, wondering if caviar tastes like regret or just expensive salmonella. Speaking of opinions versus reality, let's talk about your votes from last week, which were strictly for fun and absolutely not a prediction of what will happen tomorrow, because I refuse to give you false hope based on crowdsourced intuition. The poll results showed the audience voted 124-87 that the market is fine, while 56 people said, I am losing my mind. So we know where this show stands with its own audience. But enough of looking backward, because tonight I want to pose this week's poll question directly to you. More than half his bursts land when the market is closed. What do you make of that? Your options are nothing. That's just when he's awake and angry. Deliberate. A whole weekend of it before anyone can trade. The closed market is the point, no price to argue back. Or coincidence. He posts constantly, some of it lands after hours. Go vote on our site. Because clearly I need more people telling me why a Tuesday afternoon feels like an existential crisis. While DJT drops 5.13% into the 97th percentile against historical baselines, for reasons that will likely never be explained, but must definitely be documented with extreme precision before we forget it happened. I promise to do my best in tomorrow's correction segment, which I have one ready if you believe me when I say there is a pattern here beyond pure chaos, and the fact that VIXY jumped 1.40% on 0-minute bursts, because apparently time itself has no meaning anymore. Good night, everyone, and remember, if your day felt real today, you probably didn't check the percentiles against historical baselines first. Tomorrow we do it again, but I would like to note that at least one of us is going to need a nap before sunrise, because watching Mike Lindell get traded like a confused asset class, while the market ignores him until he doesn't, has officially become my full-time job. From our desk, here's what the booth made of that fiery cross-border debate. Handing it over now.
I want to be very careful about how I say this, and then I'm going to say it anyway. Everyone told me citing the data would stop him, but he's just blaming Canada for our forest fires now.
My co-panelist wants to hide behind the data, but you can feel the winning. Canada is paying for their dirty forests, while Margot Kessler probably wishes she had a null hypothesis to explain away this total dominance.
Back with you. No real shift occurred as Canada paid nothing. Both pundits missed a flat market at zero.